All right, I get asked all the time, do I use cameras for shed hunting? And the answer to that is absolutely. It saves you a ton of time. If you're using cell cameras, it really saves you time. I run so many cameras that if I ran cell cameras, I'd be broke. So I don't do that. I run regular cameras. And what I do is I run them on the outskirts of the feeding and the bedding areas. I run them on those main trails that cut back and forth. And I do that because I don't want to go into the main feeding areas or I don't want to go into the bedding areas until I start getting pictures of deer who have dropped their antlers. You don't want to go into a big feeding area and track it all up and stink it up if you're after a mature buck, for sure, or any of the bucks. It just kind of gets them all hinky and they'll go and they'll move to another spot. That might be on a piece of posted land or on a piece you don't have access to. So you don't want to do that. So stay right out of those places until you start seeing the bucks with no antlers on there. Like I said, you run them on the outskirts of those feeding areas where you can walk a trail or a road, have those cameras along there. They'll get the deer crossing into those bedding and feeding areas. And once they fall off, then you start looking. And I tend to stay out of the bedding areas until later on in the season once the snow starts melting. If we're having if we're having a bad winter. If we're having a winter like this, I will get in there, but I do that after I check all the feeding. So, cameras, shed hunting, absolutely.